gentlemen, welcome to the game in the top left-hand corner of the map. Hailing from Team NsHoSeo, he is Tassadar. His opponent down here in the bottom left. From Fnatic Raid Call, ladies and gentlemen, IPL 4 champion has subsequently taken out 2 people here in this match versus NsHoSeo.
Yeah, Fnatic bringing out the big guns early.
He's brought him back.
Yeah, man.
Got alive.
I'm curious to see what we're going to see from Tassadar. I actually haven't watched a VOD of Tassadar in forever.
You only watch him live standing behind him.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all right. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to have in store for Alive. And again, Alive just been on top of his game here. He's played against, of course, a Protoss player and then a Terran player. The first match, of course, he went for a one-base play. One-base play a little bit harder to pull off on this map.
Yeah.
It's a bit bigger. There is, of course, the element of course, you can fly straight across your opponent's base. But again, there's a Xel'Naga in the very far top left corner, about the 10-25 position. So you can see the Xel'Naga there. And that's pretty good in terms of catching a lot of airplay. So expecting some kind of macro play out of Alive this time.
Yeah, I would expect that out of both players, honestly. I mean, it is the biggest 2-player map that we have in the map pool. Atlanta Spaceship is just massive, massive, massive. And it lends itself towards macro play. You know, you take an expansion and they pay off in dividends. You've got this map towards the, or this expansion towards the middle with the rich Vespene geyser. It's just so nice to be able to take. But of course, Terran and Protoss do both specialized in ranged units.
So I'm going to stop predicting Alive. Yes, immediately after I said that. It seems like he enjoys putting a little bit of aggression on against his Protoss counterpart, and it may be true. I mean, I haven't seen Alive in forever since, again, like IPL 4, as you mentioned. So we'll see if that's the route he's going to be going for, what tech route he's going to go for. Is he going to follow with Hellions this time, and maybe not go for Medevacs? There's always that possibility, and try and sneak your way in. Sometimes a lot of players will actually forgo on their sentries until they need them as a Protoss player.
Yeah.
Protoss come in and does see the SCV scout on its way to the natural. He does see there is no command center first, so Tassadar has all the information that he could possibly obtain at the moment.
Yep, definitely. And he is going to be able, of course, bring the game against Brave into account and say, you opened up with some aggression on that game. Yes, you could be going for a 1-Rax expand behind this, but you went for a very fast second supply depot, so if you did, it's going to be very inefficient. I'll just play a middle-of-the-road build, and I expect Tassadar to not play too greedy here.
Well, no second gas from Alive. We'll be moving up the tech chain very, very slow here, but we'll have enough to evolve into the starport if you would like to and not get a tech lab or anything. Checking into Tassadar here. He's going to go ahead and chrono boost out the Stalker here and get rid of this SCV. From here, I'll be able to follow up into what exactly he'd want to do. Does he actually have 3 pros in that gas? It looked like he had 2 for a second there. Can you click on?
He's got 3.
Okay, he's got 3. Okay. So
it's not HOTS, we can't click on it yet. Oh, yeah,
you can. Yeah. Okay, I was assuming I was assuming maybe he put it down to 2 there, and that would actually allow for him to get out of Nexus. But 3 is what he's staying with, sticking with the most gas possible here. Could be following up into another Stalker after he gets his Warp Gate technology finished up. Could just do, of course, after this Nexus, follow up into 2 gateways, and then, of course, into another Robo, just standard play. And with that Sentry, yeah, it looks like it's going to be standard play from here.
All right, well, Alive on the other side of the map has now dropped down his command center. And it's just going for Reactor Hellions to open things up. And this is really just a harassment strategy. If he does capture Tassadar, though, out of position, of course, because Tassadar is going to be laying a little bit of aggression on right now. This is actually super sneaky, because if he can bait Tassadar into staying here for a period of time, he definitely has the possibility of getting in some economic damage.
Very true as well. And you know what? With Tassadar, of course, coming in and not seeing that command center, Alive, he's probably thinking, okay, maybe Alive's doing some kind of aggressive play like he did against my opponent or my teammate earlier, Brave. So with that,
gateway.
Yeah, very, very important here. He's going to follow up into a really, really safe play. Might even put an extra gateway down if he really wanted to make sure that he was safe. But he's sticking with just 3 now. 3's going to be okay. I would like for him to get that Xel'Naga in the top left corner, though, just because he has no idea what Alive's going for.
All right, well, things looking a little bit scary right now for Tassadar, actually, because, you know, it's nothing major or anything. In fact, he's going to follow this up with a Robo. Of course, you know, the Robo is a little bit slower, so he's going to be in the dark, but basically he ended up just taking the long and safe route to the safest build.
Yeah.
Overall, his units are at home, so he'll be able to deal with this Hellion harass very nicely. This probe will probably die.
Yeah, he'll be able to deny mine here for a little bit, but for the most part, Tassadar should be feeling pretty good. He had, actually, you saw the sentries. Nice.
He's going to get both these.
Oh!
No, that was the longest. Oh, that was such a far shot, but this guy.
This guy's dead, though. He's dead.
So dead.
Better player.
But these Hellions are going to take that opportunity to try to slip and slide. Beautiful force field, however, out of Tassadar. prevents that entirely.
Well, Live's doing a strategy that really counts on your opponent on making mistakes, and Tassadar has done a good job of not making those mistakes, allowing something to slip on by. Notice Tassadar actually thought a drop was coming his way in, because at first those sentries were in the main, in that top left corner, so Tassadar just preparing for everything, and at this point he's feeling pretty good. Can we pull up the units tab really quick and get an idea of where he's at in terms of economy? 31 to 24 with 2 meals, so 2 more SVs and suddenly we're pretty even. So for the most part, Alive's in a good part here, falling up into a 3rd command center. Gonna sit back for a little bit and just macro up, get those SCVs out, of course, those mules, and then just follow up with a couple more racks.
Well, let's take a look at what Tassadar opts to go for out of this. If he jumps for a very fast Colossus and goes for any sort of a push, Alive could find himself in trouble extremely quickly because he's not teching here. He's just sticking to these barracks, going to pop out a lot of ground units, a lot of bio, a lot of Marines. And, I mean, we could see a starport from him in a couple minutes here, but, well, as Tassadar is now going to be making his way across the map, no, in fact, he's going to go for double forge. We should have a pretty long game in our hands. This is pretty nice for Alive. You know, he opened with the three command centers, excuse me, so he's going to be feeling pretty happy if he ever gets a peek on those forges.
You see Alive actually in the bottom right corner with those Marines. He was actually poking around the natural, looking around the sky. One for looking for any pylons or anything, but was also looking for any observers that he could snipe that might be outside of the natural. Didn't find one though, but that's always something, that's like a really cool high level play that you needed to always check out. If you can, if you have the texture setting, you could always check around and look for observers. But now the observer is actually in the main, sees everything here. Yep.
He's trying to chase it. Scan gonna go down. 2 Marines are gonna take it out.
Gets it. Always nice there. And again, he actually followed up into another observer here. So that slows down any production on the Robo. So always nice to snipe that. 2 more gateway follow up here. Twilight Council on the way. Looks like he's gonna go the double forge upgrades as you just mentioned a little bit earlier here. Going for a Creator-esque like play. Again, that Twilight Council so he can follow up into Blink, charge lots, of course, get that +2 too. So looks like he wants to play a macro game, and that's what this map really kind of yells for once you get past your natural base.
Well, Alive has yet to take that 3rd out. You know, he was in this very interesting place where he did not know if he was going to be pressured because that pylon definitely made things a little bit confusing for him. He was worried about the potential of pressure, not so much so that he threw down any extra bunkers. And once he saw that observer, it seemed like, you know, he went for the double engineering bay, which is very impressive. He didn't have all that much information to go off of, so this is a really good read on Tassadar's playstyle. But it looks like now he has managed to take a glimpse at this 3rd base, which is now going down for Tassadar. And I mean, Tim, the thing that's scaring me right now is just how far ahead Tassadar's upgrades are going to be if he continues chrono boosting.
Yeah, he's getting out the 1-1, 2-2 will be very soon. He's also got Blink, he's got Robo Bay about to finish up 2. About to have area effect damage available on the field here.
Yeah.
He's going to get really strong in about 2 minutes time. He's going to have a really strong standing army. If it comes to a straight up engagement and Alive doesn't enforce something like a snipe to Colossus, potentially even more from there, then he can just put up a straight up engagement, just straight up A moves. So we'll see how Tassadar plans everything out. He's just sitting back. He wants to get his 3rd established. Alive starting to poke around the map here, taking the factory out, a couple Marines, gonna get some scouting information if possible. As soon as he sees that robotics bay though, and 1 Colossus, I want to see him either A follow up into a starport or just go, get aggressive. Step back's finishing up, just started his concussive shells, which is a relatively short upgrade, and he got +1 about to finish up too. Yeah,
he does have a nice little line of timings here. He's going to be, actually Alive moving out across the map. He's going to have 1-1 still a ways away. Medevac's joining the fight though, so see what happens with this. Maybe he's going to be able to get in some drop damage, which would be really, really nice for him. Tassadar currently sitting just only 2 behind on workers, actually. Surprised he has such an amount less. Of course, Alive did go for that faster 3rd, but a lot of chrono boost looking as if it has gone into these upgrades and this nothing.
Yeah, he's just been wanting to get out Colossus and then as well the double forge upgrade. So getting those chrono boosted out, he's had to sacrifice a little bit of economy. You are correct in that point. And it looks like the factory's gonna come in here in the main. Does he have medevacs actually with this army Alive? Yes, he does. So he actually could set himself up for a drop, but immediately there was some units warped in. So Tassadar will essentially be preventing that drop from happening, and he actually has the observer sitting over there as well. Oh my gosh, that factory's taking a lot of damage here. Couldn't even get into the main. Normally, if you have a factory going and you have it killed off, you at least want to get some valuable scouting information. So yeah, that's unfortunate there for Alive. Good job from Tassadar for defending that. And for the most part, I feel like Tassadar's in a really good spot, man. I keep mentioning it. We'll see how the engagement goes, but I just really feel like Tassadar is in a good spot.
Well, yeah, I agree. Alive did get some information. He managed to see that the Stalkers are 1-1, and, you know, with the fact that he saw that finish pretty much at the same time, he knows that there's a double forge in there. So that does give Alive the information he needs. I'm surprised to see him going for Ghosts so quickly here. You know, with the double forge, with the Colossus, it's not like Tassadar is going to be making the fastest jump into Templar tech.
Yeah.
You know, he's investing a lot of gas on only 3 bases. He's going for 2-2. He'll be going through 3-3 in a second. We could see his Templar Archives is just now getting started after, of course, he accrues some Colossi. But a scan is going to go down and, well, not reveal all that much, actually. Sees 1 Colossus.
Well, Alive is well followed up in 2 Vikings here. We have 2 already on the way. Does he actually have any on the field quite yet?
This is so late.
Yeah, the 3rd.
Wow.
I assume he was expecting some kind of aggressive push. I don't think he ever saw that 3rd going down. Actually, I think he had a hell of a
It was
sure.
on the mini-map, but it was one of those funny situations where if you look, it's not there.
Gotcha. Well, Probe in the top left corner here does get around that Marine somehow, some way. And that's just a probe there to make sure, or a pylon, I'm sorry, to make sure no medevac drops come in that top left corner. So Tassadar covering all bases here, getting all the upgrades in the book. Sonic Storm now on the way. Plus 3-3 already being queued up here at 15 minutes. Not the fastest upgrades, but pretty quick, especially for this game.
Yeah. I mean, he started those up relatively early in the game. Once he realized that Alive wasn't going to be pressuring him, he did opt for that double forge. And is now just in a great spot, man. The only thing that could have been more efficient here from Tassadar would have really been a robo before 2 gateways. Everything from that, otherwise, Tassadar has just played an extremely late game oriented build, whereas Alive has been very wishy-washy. You know, he started off with this build that was going to look like it was, he went for like a Reactor Hellion expand.
Yeah.
Didn't get much done with the Hellions at all. And then he's opted to, you know, play very defensively and sat on this 3rd in his base forever. And now he's trying to make up for those losses with some quick command centers, but I just feel like he's so incredibly far behind on the upgrades right now. He did tech the Ghost really quickly, though, so that's going to be nice for him at least, but that's his Viking count. His Viking count is just 2.
Well, when he did that scan, he only saw 1 Colossus. So he assumed his opponent stopped making Colossus and moved into high Templar tech. Moved into, of course, Sidestorm and whatnot. And there's a couple more Colossus.
That's a great point. Yeah, he did only see the one, and I even pointed that out.
Yeah,
he only saw
one. So he's like, oh, well, I need a couple here.
That happens all the time. We see these players go for 1 Colossus and very quickly tech to try to force out Vikings. And Alive, seemingly, it appears, thinking it too high of a level.
Actually, that was just more of a luck. I think that was more lucky than anything, because it was just barely, the whole army was there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Tassadar is in. I feel like Alive's waiting for Tassadar to push out and do something wrong, because he can't just push into him ever, or he'll just straight up die. To Storms, of course, Force Fields, there's a couple of Cinders in there, and then, of course, the area effect damage from the Colossi.
Yep.
So he's just sitting back here, going to get 3-3 up, Cloaks on the way, and plus Viking weapons. So from here, a couple more command centers, so he'll start going into that late game TVP, but Tassadar, it looks like he's on the move out.
Well, he's now ramping up that Viking production. He's up to 8. Tassadar moving out across the map. He's got a very low sentry count, of course. We are extremely late in this game, so the Guardian Shields would be most of the usefulness there.
Yeah.
Does have hit quite a quantity, and I love that he's splitting his Templars up.
Yeah, being very active with the Templars. Those are probably the most important unit, actually, in this competition right now. And there we go. Going to go ahead and have the High Templars in the back. There are some Vikings grouped up. Could land some Storms on him, and he does land a nice couple of Storms there. And going to keep moving forward as well. Some more Templars in the bottom left corner. Zealots charging forward as well. The Zealots are finally extinguished here. Could we have Alive go ahead and stem and push back in? And yes, he does. Templars are going down as well. A decent engagement for Tassadar, but he's forced to retreat. He needs a warp in of Zealots right now at this pylon, but he hasn't actually done so quite yet.
Yeah, sitting at 139 supply. He's got a lot of charge lots left. How's the ghost count sitting, actually? Is he out? Did all of his ghosts die? 4 just spawned, it appears, and here they are coming down their way right now. They will have enough energy for EMPs thanks to that Mobius reactor, but see what they're able to do with it.
Well, more Zealots are being warped in, and now I can go ahead and move in and engage once again. Zealots charging forward. The Ghosts are actually a little bit too over-extinguished here. He wanted to land some EMPs, a little bit too far up for my taste. Colossus are doing, one Colossus actually here, doing a decent amount of damage from the side. A Viking is pelting away on it. A Stalker is actually blinked to the top left corner to deal with that Viking. Storm lands on a few of the Marines and Marauders as well. And it looks like Tassadar has broken through. He has Zealots in the natural here. Oh, but there's a few units on the bottom right side and coming for the flank. He wants to get this Colossus. It does fall, but a Zealot warp in as well with an Archon being created as well. Looks very, very deadly here for Alive.
Tassadar with these 3-3 upgrades. He's just out-sustaining Alive by a small margin, but it is a margin that is noticeable as Alive is now on the verge of losing some production structures, and if those start to fall, Tim, things are going to cascade out of control for Fnatic Alive, and he knows it. GG.
Alive for GG, and Tassadar taking this series 3-2.
A pretty good game out of both players, honestly. Alive just seeming to misread the build a little bit, and it really hunkered down inside that 2-base build, even though he had that third command center for so long.
Just a nice defensive play, actually, overall from Tassadar. Like you said, very, very efficient. Got all the upgrades out, sat back at home, played very, very defensive-wise. Made sure to be aggressive with observers. I think he had 3 on the map at one point. And so from there, he just kept popping in and forward. Where's your army at? Where's your medivacs at? Which tech are you going for? Am I countering your tech? And all those questions were actually answered pretty nicely from Tassadar.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. It looks like Nama's going to be coming out next.
Ooh.
So we've got ourselves an exciting match coming up here in just a second. He's going to be using a different tag, though. That's why I was confused. I was like, wow, who is he? Who is he?
Who is this guy? All right, guys, we'll be back with Tassadar versus Nama after this break.